Hi there, smart drivers. Welcome back. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about road test day, and we're going to help you out with that. I got a couple of other things going on here, but it's all good, and we'll get back to you here and talk to you about road test day. So, all about vehicles. How are you, mate? It has been a while. Yes, and excellent. So, we got some other stuff going on here. There we go. We're trying to get Colin set up as a moderator on the channel, and now it should work, Colin, because I've got you set up there and it's saved. So Vernon Tech, try clicking on his profile. It should reject his channel. Yeah, I think we got it there, Vernon Tech. Venom Tech, rather, sorry. I live in Vernon, so I think we got it done and we're ready to go here. Colin, you might have to log out and re-log in again to get that to work for you. So tonight we're going to talk about that, and yeah, so just transition over to that, and then we're going to get the PowerPoint presentation going here. Jaden is here from Florida. How are you, Jaden? Yes, and that's really great that your car is alive and working, and thank you for posting those videos on the mastermind group over at Facebook there. And for all of you joining us tonight, if you haven't done that already, be sure to head over to the mastermind group. There's a link down in the description as well. You can get your checklist for road test day down in the description as well. Excellent. So Colin is one of the moderators here. He's graciously volunteered to do that. And so that's Travel and Gaming. That's Colin. Bricks for Wheels is here as well. Corey's here, and Corey is also a moderator. And Colin, remind me where you are in the world. You're in Alberta somewhere. You're either in Edmonton or whatnot. Corey is in Winnipeg, Manitoba, as we call it here in Canada. It's very cold there. So if you're taking a driving test, this is the right place to be as well. Corey will get the videos up for you on winter driving, taking a test in the winter time, and as well taking a road test if you're not experiencing winter wherever you may be in the world, in the southern hemisphere or down south in Florida and Arizona and those types of places where they don't get winter per se with snow and whatnot. So Pearl is here. I'm taking my drive test for the second time tomorrow in Massachusetts. I'm hoping for the best. Thanks for all the knowledge, and you are most welcome, Pearl, and we're happy to hear that we can help you out, and good luck on your road test tomorrow. Yes, so there's Colin, and Colin is in Calgary, Alberta. Ariane, this helps so much because I'm in the process of getting my permit. I tell all my friends about your channel, and thank you so much for the endorsement. That's really awesome. So we're gonna get over here to the PowerPoint presentation, and of course I don't have that up. I got too many things going on as I'm right up against my PowerPoint presentation. Of course, there's always little things to try and get going at the last minute there, so that's what's happening with the world. So we're gonna switch over here, and just bear with me to the PowerPoint presentation. So we're going to go over what to expect on road test day for your practical road test, and this is the outcome that you would like, is to be smiling and holding the keys to the car and being successful in getting your driver's license on road test day. So if you're new to Smart Drive Test, my name is Rick August, and there we go. My name is Rick August. I drove truck in the 1990s, and the video this week was chaining up on a big truck. So for many of you, that probably wasn't relevant, but it is for the CDL drivers who are working towards getting a license as a truck or a CDL driver, getting a CDL license and starting a career as a truck or bus driver. So that's what I did this week in terms of a video. And yeah, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that after in the question and answers. I went to university in 2000 in Australia, and I drove for Greyhound there and for a year and a bit, and then I drove regional bus lines there as well for a company called V-Line, which basically is the interstate transit authority. I became a licensed driving instructor in 1997 and have been pretty much a commercial driving instructor since that time, so more than 20 years now. And my expertise is in air brakes, and then in 2006 I graduated from the University of Melbourne with a doctorate in legal history. For those of you who don't know, legal history is the study of policing, courts, and prisons, and my expertise is in traffic as it relates, policing as it relates to traffic. Okay, I get my fingers and everything else on the right pieces here. There we go. So this is the video that I did this week, throwing chains, how to put chains on a semi-truck, and showed you step by step how to do that. And this is mostly for truck drivers between October 1st and the 31st of March. I learned that March has 31 days in it. You're going to have to put chains on your truck if you're going up over the mountains here in the Coquihalla and in the western United States through the Rocky Mountains, and showed you step-by-step instructions on about how to put chains on a big truck. As well, the 100K campaign, I do ask and request everybody who is successful on a road test, head over to the Smart Drive Test website and sign up for the 100K campaign every month. And we're a little behind on this, but we're going to get the draw going here for the $100 fuel card for everybody that lets us know that they have in fact passed their road test. It's a little slow getting started here on this whole campaign. It wasn't launched as well as I would have liked, but we're going to get going on that. So yes, as well, do review some of the handbooks before you go down for your road test, because there is a possibility that the driving examiners could ask you questions while you're out on your road test. Some will, some won't. They'll ask you basic sign information as well. They'll ask you questions about basic right-of-way, especially if you're hesitating while you're making a turn or whatnot. They might say to you, you know, who has the right-of-way, which is like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You need to go because you have the right-of-way and other vehicles are waiting for you, and you're being unpredictable because you don't understand the road rules. So if they do ask you those kinds of questions, know that maybe they're prodding you a little bit to get you going, and sometimes examiners will do that if they think that your skill is kind of just about passed but not quite, and they'll kind of prod you a little bit if you're being too careful on a road test. Practice road test, and I cannot stress this enough, especially for drivers that are not taking driving lessons. If you're taking driving lessons, you don't need to do this because your driving examiner is going to do it anyway. But if you're not taking driving lessons, schedule a practice road test with a local driving school 3 weeks out, and schedule that 7 to 10 days before your actual test. Okay? What this will do will assess your abilities for the road test, and as well will give you the nuances, because instructors will give you information about the nuances of the test route in and around the driving center where you're going to be taking your test. And some of these are really inexpensive. For Sam at Auto Rookie Driving School in the Bronx in New York State, in New York City rather, New York. It's only about $25, so it's inexpensive. And even if you have to take a full lesson as you do here in Canada, even if it's $100, it's going to save you a lot of time and energy, because you'll know exactly what your skill level is and if you're ready for the road test. And it's really tough if you're not successful on your road test to rebuild your confidence. So it's better to invest a little bit of time and energy and make sure that you do one of these practice driving tests before your road test to make sure that you're actually ready. So on the day of your road test, get up in the morning, you're going to schedule a warm-up drive, and you're going to drive in and around the test center. So do a couple of slow speed maneuvers. So do your parallel park, do your reverse stall park, and don't drive around for more than 20 or 30 minutes, because you don't want to be tired before you show up for your road test. You don't want to go out for a couple of hours, because you're going to be you're going to be too tired to go and do your road test. So you want to be sharp. So limit your practice warm-up test to 20 or 30 minutes before you actually show up at the test center. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you do a pre-trip inspection on your car. You even want to take it down and get it cleaned. If you have fast food wrappers in the footwells and they're up to your ankles, you don't want to show up with that car to your road test day. So check under the hood, make sure all the fluids are topped up, make sure all the lights and wipers are working, and you can have a look at this video here. It'll go through step by step on how to do a pre-trip inspection on your vehicle. Clean the vehicle. Check everything inside of the vehicle. Make sure that the seat belts work, because if the seat belt doesn't work on the passenger side of your vehicle, that's a violation, and you will be denied your road test. And they will do a pre-trip inspection before they take you out on a road test to make sure that your vehicle is safe. So make sure, because in the last couple of months, I've had a couple of smart drivers tell me that they were denied their road test because they had a brake light out. And let me tell you, if you have a brake light out, it is something that's easily fixed. You can fix it in less than 20 minutes prior to going down for your road test, and you won't be denied. So make sure you do that first. Yep, wrong video. Identification. Make sure you have your identification to go down for your road test, and you have to have money. Make sure that you have your driver's license with you when you show up to do your road test. As well, figure out if you have to wait in the vehicle or you have to wait outside. Some of the places, some of the different driving centers that I've been at, I didn't realize I had to go in and check in. Other ones, you don't have to. You wait in the vehicle. If you have a scheduled appointment, you simply park the vehicle in the designated place in and around the center, and then wait for the examiner to come out, and you will proceed. Sometimes you got to go in and check in, so make sure you figure that out before you actually show up for your road test. If you're with a driving examiner, it makes it a lot easier because they know what you have to do. If you're not, then you need to go down and figure that on your own. Okay, so show up to the test center 20 to 30 minutes early. You know, breathe, visualize your success, and go to the toilet. It's really tough to do a road test if you have to go to the toilet and your legs are crossed while you're trying to drive the vehicle. So make sure you go to the toilet before you do your road test. All right, once you've checked in, if you have to check in, once you got into the toilet, you got everything sorted out, make sure you got your sunglasses, you got your prescription glasses. That's another thing that I forgot to put on the slides here, but I just saw that picture of the woman here wearing her glasses. If you wear glasses, prescription glasses, or you have any other requirements for driving, make sure you have all of that with you, okay? And some driving instructors will say to you, you can't wear sunglasses on a road test. That's rubbish. That's simply not true. If it is sunny and you need sunglasses to see, I know that I need sunglasses to see, make sure that you have sunglasses with you. All right, go for a bit of a walk, breathe, focus on your breathing, visualize what you need to do, and when you're close to the test time, about 5 minutes, go back to the car and wait either by the car or wait in the car, all right? Okay. Back into the parking space when you show up at the test center. There will be designated parking for those drivers who are going to be testing. Make sure that you do that. This will make it a lot easier for you to get started on your road test. And remind me, if Vinny's here, Vinny will want me to tell you a story, and I'll tell you the story about why it's critical for the first 5 minutes of your test to go well. That is when the examiner is most anxious and he or she is trying to decide whether you can actually drive or not. So start strong, finish strong, and know that at the end of your test, for most of you, a large percentage of you, 95% of you, you're going to come back at the end of your test and you're going to reverse stall park. That means that you're going to back into the parking space for the most part. There are going to be some places you're not going to have to, but most driving centers are going to require that you're going to back in at the end of your test, okay? When you get in the car and you start driving, don't engage in conversation with the examiner. Simply follow the examiner's lead. If the examiner starts chatting you up halfway through the driving exam, then that's fine, but let them ask you questions or start talking to you. Do not talk to them, all right? Focus on what you're doing. Totally focus on what you're doing. Do not focus on the driving examiner. All right, your job on a driving test, take away the driving examiner's right to fail you. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all you have to do. You have to demonstrate to the examiner that you have due care and control of the vehicle in changing traffic situations. That's all you need to do. That is your job, and I'll give you a perfect example of this. Unfortunately, I had a student the other day, a smart driver, that told me that they were unsuccessful on the road test. The examiner had said that they needed to make a right-hand turn. They were in the left lane on a multi-lane, and they merged unsafely between two vehicles to make the right-hand turn. If that happens on your road test, if there is a dangerous action that needs to be executed in order to make the right turn, abort the turn. It's the examiner's job to bring you back around. If you cannot do it safely, if you cannot make that lane change safely to make that turn, don't do it. Simply abort, because you need to demonstrate to the examiner that you have due care and control of the vehicle. If you're executing dangerous actions to follow orders of whatever the examiner said, you didn't do that, and you're going to fail your road test. And unfortunately, the smart driver was not successful on his or her road test. All right, when you finish your road test, most of you are going to be successful because you've done all of the steps that I've outlined here for you. Do not drive home. And if you were here on a previous live stream where we told the story about the fire truck driver that went down and got his license, and I didn't drive back because he was driving the fire truck and I thought I shouldn't drive the fire truck. Well, he drove all the way back to the fire station, pulled out around the fire station in the front, and then proceeded to back into the door on the fire station. And this gets even better because then he pulled up about 10 feet and he pushed the button on the garage door opener to open the door at the fire station. So don't drive home because you're too excited, there's too much adrenaline, there's just too much going on. Whoever took you down to the driving center, your mom, your parents, driving instructor, get them to drive you back. All right, so we'll answer any questions that you have about your road test, upcoming road test, and remember, good luck on your road test and pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. So we'll just head back over here. All right. There we go. So we're back and answering any questions. And I would like to thank Colin and Corey for answering questions and getting videos up for you. That's really great. So that's helping everybody. Excellent. Krista, I have to take my test in a big Ford truck, unfortunately. How can I see my blind spots better? It's a bit difficult. All right, so Krista, a couple of things you can do. First of all, make sure that you get some of those small convex mirrors and stick them on your on the existing mirrors on your truck. That'll help you out as well. Make sure you do your shoulder checks, okay? And that'll help you out to look in your blind areas in and around the truck. Go over to the Smart Drive Test website. There's a link to my Amazon store, and you'll see those convex mirrors that you can pick up to put on your mirrors there. Sarah's here. Hi, Sarah. Vinny's here, and I'm going to tell you the story, Vinny, about the first 5 minutes and how important that is. Neon is here. No, I do not recommend any illegal substances or medication or anything like that. Make sure that when you start driving for your road test, make sure that you're sober, okay? Because you don't want to be denied your road test because you're not sober. All right, Big Mac Sam is here. Sam is a driving instructor at Rookie Auto Driving School at the Bronx. And Sam also has a YouTube channel, so make sure that you head over there and check out his stuff as well. And if you're in the Bronx, in the New York City area, make sure you look Sam up. And as I said, Sam, I think you said it was $25 for a practice driving test, which we recommend for everybody before you take your actual road test. That way you know what your skill level is. Okay, Blessing, I love your YouTube. Thank you so much, Blessing. And anything we can do, drop us a note, leave us a comment. That's all great. And if you're new to Smart Drive Test, consider subscribing. Smart Drive Test helps new drivers get a license, veteran drivers to remain crash-free, and CDL drivers to start a career as a truck or bus driver. So consider subscribing. Hit that thumbs up button. Everybody hit that thumbs up. That's really great. Helps us out, gets us promoted. And we're fast zoning in on the 100,000 here. We're going to get our plaque from YouTube. So hopefully February we're going to hit the 100,000 mark on the Smart Drive Test YouTube channel, which I'm really, really excited about. And I would like to thank everybody who has subscribed. And the other day, you may or may not know, YouTube actually cleaned out all the inactive accounts, spammers and those types of things. So the YouTube channel took, I think we lost 400 subscribers that day, which was a bit of a hit. But anyway, it's all good. Michael's here. Actually, those bigger, I have two mirrors on them, a regular mirror and a blind spot mirror. Yes, they do, Michael. Some of them will have that. If some of the older ones won't, they'll just have a big mirror on them, and you'll actually have to buy those stick-on convex mirrors. Okay? Okay. Excellent. Okay, so we got some others. Pearl, please can you clarify the difference between flashing yellow lights, arrows, and solid yellow lights? The light confuses me sometimes. Pearl, if the light is flashing, oftentimes what that means is that the light is going to change. If it's solid, it means that it's running its duration. But when it starts to flash, it's either going to end or it's going to start. It kind of depends on the traffic lights. One of the things you might do, Sarah, or Pearl rather, I'm sorry, is you might get somebody who's experienced to go with you and just kind of help you out with that a little bit, and that'll let you know what the light actually means. Sarah, can you use the blind spots that's on the new cars in Maryland for road test? Are you talking about the blind spot indicators, Sarah? You still have to shoulder check, even if you have those blind spot indicators on your vehicle, that there's another vehicle or somebody in your blind spot area. You still have to shoulder check. You must shoulder check 2 times on a road test. Anytime you move the vehicle sideways, anytime that you're making turns. If you do not shoulder check 2 times during those maneuvers, you will not be successful on a road test. So know that you absolutely have to do that for the purposes of a road test. All right, Jwezi, can you explain the right of way again real quick? Okay. Is there a particular place that you're looking for me to explain that, Jesse? Because I mean, right of way it's a big topic. There's a lot of things that we could sort of talk about. So right of way, two-way stops. Usually a two-way stop is at an intersection that's a major road intersecting with a minor road, and the minor roads will have stop signs. You have to stop at the correct position at a stop sign intersection, before the stop line, before the crosswalk or sidewalk. And if those two things don't exist, then you have to stop where the two roads meet. And once you stop in the correct position, if you can't see, then you creep forward and treat it as a yield. Four-way stops, right of way, first person to arrive. If it's not you as the first person, then it's the vehicle on the right. And if it's a four-way stop and it's busy, oftentimes what happens is that the opposing lanes of traffic will take turns. And if you watch the video, Corey will get this up for you here on the four-way stop video, and you can have a look at that, and that'll help you out as well. The other thing I would suggest, Jwezi, is have a look at basic right-of-way, that video there. Corey will get that up for you, and that will help you out as well. Excellent. Thanks, Jaden. And Siddharth, I just wanted to let you know that I passed my test on Wednesday. Only made me parallel park once, and we only had to go through one playground zone, no schools. It was 20 minutes. Thanks. That is absolutely awesome. Congratulations on that, and that's really great. And if you would head over to the Smart Drive Test website and sign up for the 100K campaign, if you haven't done that already, that would be tremendous. Absolutely awesome. Okay, so excellent. So Vinny, I have a story for you. So I was saying on the road test that the first 5 minutes of your road test is absolutely crucial. When I was driving coaches in Australia, I had one time I went down and to pick up passengers. So you went in, you got the bus at the depot, and then you went to the terminal to pick up the passengers. And I was really tired this one time. You know, I've been working a lot of nights, and I was working 70 or 80 hours a week. And so I went down. We loaded up the bus with the passengers and backed out of the place. Like, it was a big indoor kind of terminal where you park the buses. Some of you may have been in some of these big places. And I backed up. I stalled the bus. I got the bus going. And then I backed up, went around, and it went out, and the building was right on the edge of the sidewalk. And just as I was coming out over the sidewalk, somebody stepped out in front of me. A pedestrian stepped right out in front of me, hammered on the brakes, and then I went around, and of course I'm making a right turn, which is the equivalent of a left because you're on the left side of the road in Australia. And so I'm making this turn, and then I ran over the curb. I dropped the back tires of the bus over the curb, and it was the overnight from Melbourne to Sydney, which is 11 and a half hours. And I bet you not one of those passengers on that bus slept all the way from Melbourne to Sydney, which is an 11-hour ride. And the reason for that is because the first 5 minutes of the bus ride, I screwed it up. On any other bus ride where I got it right the first 5 minutes, if you get the ride, the first 5 or 10 minutes of the bus ride is absolutely fine. Nobody's going to say anything. Nobody's going to bother you. So, so same thing with a road test. Same thing when I was in martial arts. It's always start strong, finish strong. And that's what you want to do for the purposes of your road test. Always, always, always start strong in your road test. Okay? So, and we'll just reiterate the 4 components of a road test for those of you who are about to embark on a road test, taking a road test over the Christmas holidays into the beginning of January. Any road test is going to be 4 fundamental components: speed management, space management, observation, and communication. So, speed management, you need to either do the posted speed limit or the flow of traffic, whichever is less. So if the posted speed limit is 50 kilometers an hour, 30 miles an hour, you have to do 50 kilometers an hour, 30 miles an hour, unless there's some mitigating reason that you don't need to do that speed. If the traffic flow is backed up or it's congested or whatever, and it's less than 30 miles an hour, 50 kilometers an hour, then you need to do the flow of traffic, whichever is less. Next one is space management. Don't get near anything. Don't crowd any pedestrians on a road test. And that way you're going to be successful, because my theory is if you're not near anything, you're not going to crash into anything. So space management, as I mentioned previously, you got to stop at the correct positions at stop sign intersections, before the stop line, before the crosswalk. If there's no crosswalk lines, then before the sidewalk. And if neither of those lines exist, then where the edge of the two roads meet. When you stop in traffic, make sure that you can see the tires of the vehicle in front of you making clear contact with the pavement, and you need to maintain a 2 to 3 second following distance. And as road conditions deteriorate, make sure that your space increases, your following distance increases. Do not block intersections on a road test, all right? Then you have to communicate with other road users. There's 5 ways to communicate with other road users on a road test: lights, horns, hand gestures. Make sure that you use all 5 fingers. Don't tell them they're number 1 on a road test. You won't be successful. All right, eye contact. If you're not sure what a pedestrian is doing, make sure you get eye contact. And then finally, the most important way that you communicate your intentions with other road users is the position of your vehicle on the roadway. And as we were talking about earlier with Sarah, make sure that you observe, okay? And observation is that you have to have a scanning pattern in place that you're repeating every 8 to 12 seconds while you're driving straight down the road. You need to look as far down the road as you can. In, check the center mirror, far down the road, both shoulders of the road. Back in, check the instrument panel. Down the road again, back in, check your wing mirrors, and then repeat every 8 to 10 seconds. Vinny liked my story. Excellent. So anytime that you reverse or parking, make sure that you do 360-degree scan before you start backing up. And when you do back up, make sure you're looking out the back window. So you got your hand over the passenger vehicle seat and you're turned and you're looking out the back window. And unfortunately, in the video that I have on reversing for the purposes of a road test, I say that you can take your seatbelt off. Don't take your seatbelt on. Leave your seatbelt on for the duration of your road test. All right. Anything else? Shoulder checking. Yes, for observation, you must shoulder check 2 times every time you make a turn. So approximately half a block from where you're going to turn, you're going to shoulder check in the direction that you're going to turn, and then just before you execute the turn, you're going to make a shoulder check. Anytime that you move the vehicle sideways in a parking lot or you're changing lanes or anything like that, make sure that you shoulder check, and you can't over shoulder check on a road test. You can a little bit, but make sure you do it 2 times before you do it, okay? And make sure you look at the videos on changing lanes and those types of things. All right, okay, so traveling photographer. Do you have any tips for vanquishing my test nerves? I'm taking the test for another time this Tuesday, even though I've driven all over Vancouver and know that I'm a good driver, I still fear it. Yes, and traveling photographer, we all hate being tested. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Probably one of the best ways to calm yourself down. Make sure you get a good night's sleep. Make sure you eat something in the morning, have a good breakfast, and make sure that you just breathe. Just focus on your breathing all the time. Especially when you're leading up, in the hours and minutes before your road test, in through the nose, all the way through your navel. So, and then breathe out through your mouth. So in through your nose, all the way through your navel, and then out through your mouth. And the other ways that you can do that is in, good energy in, and then bad energy out. But know that we're all afraid. We all dislike tests. And, I've taken a lot of different road tests. I've probably taken a dozen road tests because I had to get my license back in Australia. When I moved to British Columbia, I had to get my driving instructor's license back. And I was always nervous. The other thing is, traveling photographer, practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the better it's going to, the more confident you're going to become, because your skills are going to increase, and as your skills increase, the better you're going to be. So know that. And the other thing, traveling photographer, and Corey will get the video up here for you on learning to drive. There's some exercises there. Just get some pylons, and this is a good thing to sort of revisit when you're in the days leading up to your road test, because you can kind of go out and fiddle around with the pylons, and you can get kind of aggressive with the primary controls, the steering wheel, the throttle, and the brake, and it just kind of helps you relax a little bit in preparation for your road test. So that's something else that you can do as well. Okay, Tommy, I remember when I took the wait to take the test was longer than doing the road test when I'm getting my driver's license for my car. Yeah, and sometimes that happens, Tommy, is that you show up, you have to wait a half an hour or whatnot, and it turns out that the road test is only about 5 or 8 minutes, especially for some of the road tests that Sam will tell you there in the Bronx and other places that I've talked to in the States, is that the road test is only 8 or 10 minutes, whereas here in British Columbia, in Ontario, Canada, and a lot of other places, most of the time the road test is going to be 20 minutes, half an hour. Sometimes if they're not even busy, if you're in a test center, in a small town or something like that, the test might run out 40 minutes, 45 minutes before you get back. And for people who are doing a CDL road test, know that you're going to be a couple, maybe even 3 hours on a road test, because they're fairly lengthy. Okay, Jaden, when I turned on my left turn signal, my car is still blinking very fast. I'll show you a video after my school day is done. Excellent. Oftentimes what's happened, Jaden, is there's a plug there that makes the signals blink, and sometimes that'll cause that to do that. Keisha, I panicked when he said we had to parallel park. I didn't know how. At a still need to know how. Okay, so Keisha, there's a video on parallel parking there, and in the video I do say that you're not going to parallel park between two vehicles. Every now and again, a smart driver tells me that the driving examiner did in fact make them parallel park between two vehicles. So for the purposes of practicing for your road test and getting ready for it, when you learn how to parallel park, just park behind one vehicle. But as you get better at it, then begin to parallel park in between two vehicles. That way, in the off chance that it does in fact happen that the driving examiner is kind of an ogre and makes you parallel park between two vehicles, as sometimes they will do, then you're ready for it. You know what to expect and how to do that, because there's a higher skill level expected when you're parallel parking between two vehicles, because you have to know the distance off the back of your vehicle. And if you're not comfortable with that and you don't know how far you are at the back of your vehicle, again, go back and do those learning to drive exercises where you go and get some of those 36-inch, 1 meter tall pylons, those delineators, and you can rent those from NT Rental Shop. Take them down to the local parking lot and then just back up against them, because if you hit them with your car, it's not a big deal. You're not going to hurt anything. So that's what you want to do. And so there, Jack just said his test was 5 minutes. They probably didn't even, did you even get out of the parking lot, Jack, for 5 minutes? That's a really short driving test. All right, so Keisha, and the other thing is, if you think you might be having some trouble, Keisha, with your parallel parking, then do those exercises in the Learn to Drive video, and that will help you out as well, because there's the delineators, the pylons, and you can do some maneuvers in and around those, and you can practice your reverse parallel parking, and you can do, just learn how to control the primary controls of the vehicle. You can learn how to master those, and you can learn where the vehicle is in space and place, and that will really help you out in terms of overall driving and learning to handle the vehicle and learning where it is in space and place. All right, Michael, my parallel was between two cones. Yes, and for a lot of test centers, sometimes they're not going to make you park behind one vehicle. They're going to make you parallel park with cones, and I'm going to have to do another video, because when the one I did with cones for parallel parking was with 4 cones, and some of the smart drivers are telling me that their test center only uses 2 cones. So they make you park up against the curb, but they just use 2 cones. So I'll have to do another one just to help them out and do that one as well. And as well, there's the name of the maneuver. It's in the state of Ohio, and it's with a couple of pylons and that as well. So I'm kind of behind on a couple of these videos that I need to get up for you, and I'll get those up for you as well. Colin, you're doing awesome. Thank you so much for that, and I'll have a look again, because everything kind of goes pretty quick here during the live stream. 380. My alley docking a trailer. Once I lose sight of my mirrors, I've reduced a babbling mess. Is it just memory and practice? Unless I back straight, I ask a spotter. 380, if you are backing in an alley and you cannot see that trailer and you have access to a spotter, that's the best thing you can do. And as I say to drivers all the time, CDL drivers, if you are backing up and you lose sight of that trailer, goal, G-O-A-L, get out and look. And this is no different for any other driver. It doesn't matter what vehicle you're driving, whether it's a passenger vehicle, a bus, a 5-ton, a tractor trailer unit, a set of Super Bs. If you cannot see where you're backing into, stop, get out and look, because if you don't, you are just asking for trouble. So that's really great, 380. And if you're using a spotter, that's even better. That's just going to keep you out of trouble. Now, if 380 you're backing into the same place and you've done it 30 times in a month because you're doing it every day, that's different. But still, if you have access to a spotter, that's the best thing you can do. And lots of times when I was in New York and New Jersey and other big cities, and I was having to back through parking lots, lots of times I would get 2 spotters. I would have one standing in front of the truck and another one behind me. So that's what I would be doing for the purposes of backing up to make sure that I was safe. Moki, how are you, my friend? Jaden, this before, but I'm a very good driver on GTA, but I'm not going to tell the driving exam when I got the good driving from GTLO. Well, that's great. Okay, so good guy was saying that he had 2 cones on his test, so that's what I'll do, and that'll help a lot of smart drivers out too, is get that up. There we go. Okay. I already passed with my parallel parking. Excellent. Zero. Sorry about this. Sorry for the delay in getting back to you. Been watching your videos and passed my driver's test. Quick question. How do I get used to the blind spots in my Camaro? It's getting tricky reversing. Yeah, zero. That's just practice, and it's making sure that you 360-degree view when you're backing up. Make sure that you're looking out the back window, and approximately every vehicle length that you back up, make sure that you're doing another 360-degree view. You might consider zero getting some of those small convex mirrors, but they don't eliminate your blind spots completely. So I really encourage drivers to continue to make sure that you're looking out the back window. And just know that the number one reason why drivers get into crashes, backing crashes, is because they move the vehicle before they look. So make sure that you you look first and then back up. And you know, just for curiosity's sake, all of you who are all the smart drivers who are watching tonight here on the live stream, just next time you're coming out of the grocery store and you're walking through the parking lot, just watch drivers as they're backing up, and you'll notice the number of them that do not look out the back window. They barely check their mirrors. They just kind of back up using the force, and just use it to amuse yourself, because that's what I do whenever I walk out of the parking lot. I'm always watching everybody backing up. Camille, how are you? I got a chance to look at that information so you and I can catch up there. Camille is becoming a CDL driving instructor, commercial driving license instructor in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, which is really exciting. Her and her sister are opening up a driving school down there, so I'm helping them out there a little bit, and I'm really glad that I can be part of that really great success story. So, good guy. That's what goal means. All right. Yes, get out and look. It's on a lot of stickers in trucks, in big trucks and buses and those types of things, because a lot of drivers just back up blindly and then they back into a light standard or something like that, and hopefully they don't back into another person or whatnot, a road user and whatnot. Edgar, how are you, my friend? Excellent. Keisha, I live in Philadelphia and 2 other drivers got their license. I was so upset, but I guess because I'm older, it's going to take a bit, I guess. Thanks for the encouragement. No, Keisha, you're going to do awesome. Just remember, the only time that we fail is when we give up. We all have unsuccessful attempts, but, I don't like saying this, but unsuccessful attempts are our greatest teacher, and we learn the most from them. So you're going to do just fine. Just keep practicing and keep going back, and you're going to be successful on getting that license. Okay? So, yes, and road test story. So another road test. It wasn't one of my students, but I was at the driving test center with one of my students and another driver there. We live in British Columbia. The province of Alberta is quite close, and the student showed up with his uncle's car, and it was from the province of Alberta. Well, in the province of Alberta, you don't have to have a license plate on the front of the vehicle. Well, the driving examiner was such a stickler that even though it was not a province vehicle, the driving examiner refused to take the student out because it didn't have a license plate on the front of the vehicle. So that's the other thing. When you're doing your pre-trip inspection in preparation for going down for your road test, make sure that you have both license plates on if they're required by your state or province or wherever you live in the world, and make sure that the stickers are valid. Make sure that you have valid stickers and it's up to date, and make sure that you have the paperwork with you in the vehicle in case something happens while you're out on the roadway. You have your license, you have the registration for the vehicle, and you have the insurance. So make sure that you do all of that before you go down for your road test and show up for your road test. They're probably not going to ask you for it. I can't remember ever having a driving examiner ask me to look at the paperwork in the vehicle, but make sure that you do have it with you. Okay? Just checking here. So that's what you need to do. CDL drivers. Let's talk a little bit about CDL drivers showing up for a test. So we'll talk about tractor trailers first. Different driving centers are going to have different requirements as part of the backing up, and they're going to do the sequence in different ways. Most test centers are going to get you to do your pre-trip inspection first for a CDL test. Some may get you to park, and you're going to have to park in a particular place. They always have designated parking for large commercial vehicles. Many of the places that I actually have done CDL training and showed up to do a CDL test, you simply drive in and park along the edge at some place in and around the test center. There's very few places that you're going to have to back in. Most of them have sort of a drive-through that you can drive around the building and then drive back out for large commercial vehicles. Most test centers that I've been at, you do the pre-trip inspection first. For a tractor trailer unit, you're allowed 45 minutes for a pre-trip inspection. For a straight truck, so it's say a school bus, a coach, dump trucks, anything like that, you're allowed 30 minutes for a pre-trip inspection. And for a class 4 vehicle, so say like a 15-passenger van, you're allowed 15 minutes to do your pre-trip inspection. Once you do the pre-trip inspection, you fill out the paperwork for a CDL license. Then you're going to go out for your drive. And this is the biggest component of any CDL license, is your ability to maneuver this larger vehicle through town and, again, demonstrate to the examiner that you have due care and control of the vehicle in changing traffic conditions. And that's what you need to do for the purposes of a CDL test. Now, different test centers will do this in different orders, because as part of your tractor trailer license, 2 other things that you need to do is you need to couple and uncouple, and then you need to back up. And backing up is going to change or be more difficult depending on what test center you're in. In Victoria, where I used to do testing, they made you parallel park. In London, Ontario, where I did training and testing, they made you back around a corner. So you need to know the test center that you're going to go to and what the requirements are for backing up and how difficult it's going to be. Here in Vernon, British Columbia, they only make you back up in a straight line 50 feet, and there are lots of test centers that only make you back up 50 feet in a straight line. I know that there are some other test centers in the United States that make you parallel park on the blind side, which in my mind is just completely ridiculous, but and reasons of safety is the reason I feel that way about that. All right. And then, so you got to hook and unhook, and then you got to back up. In Victoria, they made you do the hook and unhook last, because if you didn't pass the pre-trip inspection, you didn't pass the on-road drive, they wouldn't make you hook up and unhook. So we knew when the drivers came back at the end of their CDL exam that if they were hooking and unhooking, then they had passed the test. And I actually had one driver who did in fact pass the test, unhooked the trailer, hooked it back up, and forgot and didn't wind the dollies back up. This is the legs that hold the trailer up when it's not attached to the truck. And they still passed them, which was interesting. Now, here in Vernon, they will make you do the pre-trip inspection, and then they'll make you do the hook and unhook. One of the examiners will make you do the hook and unhook right there in the parking lot. So it's going to depend on what it is. And for most of you, you're going to go to a truck driving school when you're doing your CDL test, because it's just going to be easier. Driving, there's a lot involved in terms of getting a CDL license, especially if you're going for a tractor trailer license. If you're trying to do it on your own, it's going to be a bit more difficult. What I would suggest is, if you are doing it on your own and you do have access to equipment and you do have access to a driver who has a CDL license, then I would suggest to you that you do 2 or 3 lessons at a driving school, just so they can go over with you exactly what you need to do for the purposes of passing your road test. All right, so that's kind of in a nutshell a CDL license. And then the other thing is bus and straight truck is going to be a little bit different. Now, other states and other provinces and jurisdictions are going to have heavy trailer endorsements. Here in British Columbia, we have one for any trailer that's over 4,600 kilograms or 10,000 pounds. We also have one for recreational RV trailers. We call it the house trailer endorsement. If you're over 10,000 pounds or 4,600 kilograms on a recreational trailer like a house trailer, you got to go down and get another license for it. Otherwise, your insurance may be void. Okay, so that's what you need to do for the purposes of a CDL license. Tommy, when I went to go for my driving tests, I had someone back my car into the parking space before I took it. Good. That's a good one, Tommy. There you go. Excellent. Okay, Sam, we have a guy that has been unsuccessful 5 times this year. He's been trying to get his license since 2004. He's been unsuccessful for a total of 16 times. He gives up for a while and then comes back. Wow. You have your work cut out for you, Sam, for sure. There we go. Okay. He's not your student, but you don't know what he's doing. Okay, Killerman, when going straight through the intersection, how can you make sure there will be room for you on the other side? That is a good question. Generally, Killerman, what you need to do is you need to practice that. You sort of need to figure out, you need to do enough driving in and around the test center so you know that when you're, the vehicles are not backed up. If you have any doubt that you're not going to get through the intersection, this is the rule that I'll give you. If you have any doubt that you're not going to make it through the intersection, you're not going to clear the intersection when you get to the other side, just come to a stop on this side of the intersection and indicate to the examiner. Just say out loud, I don't think I'm going to make it across the intersection. I'm going to be blocking the intersection, so I'm not going to proceed. And generally what happens is that within 10 seconds, the traffic moves on the other side of the intersection and you can simply proceed or wait for the light to change and you're in the clear. It's better to err on the side of caution than it is to plow through the intersection, get to the other side, and you find out you can't get through. So do that. That's the rule of thumb. James, just wanted to say thank you for all your informative videos. Just passed this last Saturday from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and instructors can be quite hard on people. Excellent. That's really great, James. Thank you so much for letting us know. And if you wouldn't mind heading over to the Smart Drive Test website and signing up for the 100K campaign, that would be really great as well and help us out. My only concern for my 4 p.m. test on Wednesday is that I've been stuck out there once, so stop at the green light. Yes, Killerman, if you're in the least bit of doubt about whether you're going to actually clear the intersection on the other side, then definitely do that. And you go Wednesday, so what I would suggest as well in preparation for your test is tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, go out and drive around at 4 p.m., same thing. And that's an excellent point, is that for all of you preparing for road tests, know what time your road test is and practice driving at that time of the day in and around the test center. That way you're going to be familiar with the type of traffic that you're going to be dealing with. And what Killerman said there was at 4 p.m. there's a lot of congestion. The intersections could be blocked. So if you're taking your road test at 4 o'clock in the afternoon as opposed to 10 o'clock in the morning, there's going to be very different traffic situations. So know that and practice in and around the areas at the time that you're going to be taking your license test, and that will help you out. Okay? Jaden, my YouTube broke, but I'm back. YouTube doesn't break very often. Every now and again it does break, but for the most part it does. All right. Vinny wanted another story. I had a student driving tractor trailer who was taking his road test in Victoria, and this is where you had to parallel park. And when they parallel parked, it was up against this tall cement wall because it was an embankment for a hill there. And anyway, the driving, and it was, parallel parking a rig is fairly advanced skill for new drivers. Anyway, the student came in and he was kind of, I wasn't sure whether he was going to be able to pass his road test. Anyway, he backs up and he's got the trailer cranked way too much. And anyway, the driving examiner, I'm watching because I'm standing there, I'm in the parking lot watching the student try and parallel park the truck on his test. And the driving examiner is not intervening. And I know that the student cannot see the wall. I know that the student's not going to stop and get out and look. And so I ran over and I'm waving my arms like, stop. And all of a sudden, the student stopped. The brakes came on the truck. I heard the air exhaust from the truck. The brakes come on the truck, and the examiner just climbs out of the truck and goes right in the building. Didn't even stop to say anything to me. Didn't say anything to the student. Nothing. And so the student comes. I went over. I talked to the student. He parked the truck as best he could, and went inside. We both went inside, and she was hiding in the back somewhere. I don't know where she went. And so we found somebody to finally get her out of the back of the building. And she said, oh, the student failed the road test. And I said, what do you mean the student failed the road test? And she said, well, anybody that intervenes in a test is an automatic fail on a road test. And I said, well, why weren't you intervening? I said, he was going to run into the wall and you weren't saying, hey, you're too close to the wall. So know that. And I've been at driving centers where there's been crashes because drivers have gone around corners and those types of things. And this is the other thing that a lot of people don't know. A lot of driving examiners who work at test centers, when they're testing higher class licenses, they don't hold that class of license. So me as a driving instructor and other driving instructors, if we take a student down and they lose it for whatever reason while they're out on the road test, the driving examiner can't drive the rig back. They would have to get out of the truck. They would have to call the driving instructor. They would have to call me or somebody else to come out and get the truck because the driving examiner doesn't hold that class of license and they can't drive that truck. So there you go. There's another story for you, Vinny. Okay, Rick, what about air brakes test? Is that part of the pre-trip? Forgot about that part, I think, when you're talking about CDL test. Yes, Tommy, that is part of your pre-trip inspection, is testing the air brakes as part and parcel of that. So you got to inspect all the components. You got to test air brake adjustment on the vehicle that's fitted with air brakes, and you got to do the 5 tests in the cab. So you got to do minimum and maximum setting on the governor. You have to check the low air warning. You have to check that the spring brakes engage, the emergency brakes engage between 20 and 45. You have to do a compressor test, and then you have to go to maximum pressure, and you have to do a leak test. So those are the 5 tests that you have to do to test the air brakes as part and parcel of driving a CDL vehicle, and you need to demonstrate that to an examiner, and you need to check all the push rod adjustment, that the brakes are adjusted for the purposes of your road test. Sam, let's give the live stream a thumbs up, guys. This is free info Rick is giving. It helps a lot. Thank you so much, Sam, for your endorsement. That's really awesome. Rowett, I live in London, Ontario. Passed my G license in first attempt as I watched every videos of yours before my test. Very helpful instead of only learning from instructor. Excellent. Rohit, that's really great. Thank you so much for letting us know. Congratulations on passing. And again, if you could head over to the Smart Drive Test and sign up for the 100K campaign, that would really help that get that going, because I need to put a concerted effort in getting that going for the new year. Vinny, there you go. Another story for you. I love that you're pushing me, motivating me to keep me going on the stories here, Vinny. And Hall Phase isn't here tonight, but I did get a video up, and I was actually, if you haven't seen it already, it's kind of good. Even if you're not thinking about driving a CDL vehicle, you need to definitely have a look at that on throwing chains. Remember, actually the first time I took the G in Toronto, the examiner hit the assist brake for me, as she thought I might have to run into another car in the first, and she failed me for that. Yes, remember, and that's an excellent point. If a driving examiner intervenes in the test, that's an automatic fail, regardless of whether it's justified or whatnot. And here's another question that I get from smart drivers about driving examiners, and this is really great, Raminer, that I can make this point, that if you're unsuccessful on your road test, you don't pass your road test, there's no recourse against examiners. You know, you can write a letter complaining to the examiner, but it's almost a moot point. It's better for you to just go off, practice some more, and come back and do your test, because examiners, for whatever reason, seem to be almost untouchable, that you're not going to get the decision overturned. It's actually better for you to just put your energies into practicing and coming back and doing your test. And if you do fail your test and you come back and do it, it's 99.5% likely that you're not going to have the same driving examiner. They're going to give you a different driving examiner on subsequent tests. And Sam may be able to confirm this for me. Sam, have you ever had a student that's failed and then gone back and done their driving test again that's had the same examiner? I mean, it's unlikely. Every time, I mean, in Vernon here, we only have 3 examiners. Every time I went down with another student that was unsuccessful on their first attempt, you know, which doesn't happen very often, they've had a different driving examiner. Okay? Epic. Took all 3 of my road tests in the afternoon with the same results of failing due to parallel parking. To pass the road test, should I do a mock test with a local driving school on test day or not? What you should do, Epic, is you should do a practice driving test, a mock road test, but not on the day of your driving test. Do it a day before, or 2 or 3 days before is the best time to do your practice driving test, to make sure that you're ready to go down and do your driving test. Killerman, I feel it would be weird telling the examiner you're going to stop at a green light. Who stops at a green light? Fail. No, it's not a fail, Killerman. What's a fail is if you move into the intersection and you cannot clear the intersection. That is an automatic fail. Stopping at a green light because you cannot proceed through the intersection for reasons of safety, that's not a fail. And one of the other things, Killerman, that I would suggest that you have a look at, and Corey will get the video up here for you, running commentary, okay? And I tell students to do this all the time, and Sam will back me up on this. Talk out loud. Say what you're doing. When you do that, the driving examiner's not second-guessing you. They know exactly what you're doing. They know exactly what you're looking at, and they know exactly what you're thinking. So do that running commentary. So if you get at an intersection, you don't think you can clear the intersection on the other side, say, listen, I'm stopping here because I can't clear the intersection. There's vehicles over here, and I'm just going to stop here and wait for the traffic to clear, and then I'll proceed. and that will help you out, and that's a really good point. Okay, Vinny. Excellent. Thanks, Vinny. Glenroy, how long will I have to wait before I can redo the CDL test? Sometimes, Glenroy, I think it might be 2 weeks. It depends where you are in the world. There is a certain waiting period, but definitely just ask the test center where you at, and that will help you out. Okay, Rowett, I don't know if it's allowed or not, but my instructor had 20 years of experience as an instructor, and he knows every bit of turn which will happen in the road test, like where parallel parking. And yeah, Rowett, you don't even need 20 years experience to know exactly where the test route is and where they're going to get you to do maneuvers and those types of things. Driving instructors learn that really quickly. Jamie Rockstar, I talk out loud to myself still as a new driver, and that's really great, Jamie, because what's happening is that you're working your brain and you're thinking about things. Yes, my son just dropped something in the background here. They're doing pretty well. So yeah, if you can talk out loud while you're driving, it's really going to help you, and anything that you're doing is going to help you when you're talking out loud. Okay, so we're running at the end of the hour here, so we're just going to wrap up here real quick. Jamie, I got my first car a month ago, and I've been driving safe after getting my license 2 months ago, and that is really awesome. Congratulations, Jamie. All the best. Sam, if an examiner sees his or her initials on the pre-licensing certificate, it means that they had the person before. They will not take that student out again. So excellent. So Sam just confirmed that. In New York, yes, New York. It's I don't know for sure, Glenroy, so probably best to just contact the DOT center and ask them how long you have to wait between tests. I know here in British Columbia it's 2 weeks, so it might be 2 weeks again, or there may not even be a wait period, but just confirm with them because I don't want to give you false information, okay? Jaden, I was talking to my school resource officer, by the way, our friends, and I told him almost done with the drug and all, and excellent, that's really great, Jaden, awesome. I also don't know how to judge if the intersection will be congested if traffic in front of me is going. I feel I should follow and not stop randomly. Just know, Killerman, okay, I'm going to let you make a decision because there's a certain amount of discretion involved in what we're talking about here in terms of blocking an intersection. But I will tell you that if you are unfortunate enough that you get stuck in the intersection, that's an automatic fail on a road test. I'm just going to tell you that, okay? Excellent. My friend Tim is here. Tim is telling me that he lost more subscribers on a percentile than I did. Okay, excellent. I'm sorry, Tim, that you lost more subscribers than me. Excellent. 217, I do have a question. Why is the logo in the intro of your video shown for a split second? I feel like it should be extended just a bit. 217, the reason is that we are trying to keep the video... maybe it's just on the live stream here because it does show for a little bit longer. I'll have another look at it, but I'll definitely have a look at that. Excellent. Jamie, send me photos of your new car for sure. Maurice, the next test is January. Congratulations. Rowett, after my test when I went back to India, I drove in the opposite lane as India's on the left side. Okay, did not know that. Excellent. Yes, excellent, Killerman. Better safe than sorry. Better to err on the side of caution and just tell the examiner what you're doing. Say, listen, I don't think I can make it across the intersection and I'm stopping here. They will give you some concessions for being new and not being able to judge that distance because it's hard from this side of the intersection to know on the other side if you're actually going to make it through. So most examiners will probably give you, they'll probably let you off on that. All right. Good night, Vinny. All right. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight. Thank you very much for your questions. It's been really awesome. I love doing these live streams. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to break for Christmas. So next week we'll have one more on Sunday, and then we're going to break for Christmas for anybody who has questions over the holidays. And congratulations to everybody who's passed the road test in the last week. Good luck to everybody who has a road test this week. And remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great night. Bye now.